look here, we have the rail line, we have here, we have the gap there, and once we have the gap there, what I'm going to do is just to start detailing on how the two can be joined together, plus allowance of some few millimeters to allow some expansion of the rail. Now, if we come here, you can see I have marked some 2 points here. This will help me in creating a plate that will be bolted together, will bolt together the two the two rails that joins the other at a gap of 10 millimeter. So I'm just using this side just to help me come up with the points with the marking points that will help me create the plate. So I'm going to select that plate that point and select this point. Then right click and come to special copy there and pick on linear. So on the linear side, I want to copy this point upward by 68 millimeter. So once I've selected that, I'm going to click copy. So I'll have these points on top here. So once I've done so, I'm going to left click on the steel. Then I'll be able to access the tools available under steel. Plate 1 is one among the rest. So I'm going to click on the drop down arrow under plate and have several tools under plate that we can use to create anything that that involves plate. So let's create a plate using polygon approach. So let me just click on the points that I had created here, and I'll create another point there. So we'll have a plate here. So if I double click on this particular plate, you'll be able to see this is 10 millimeter thick. So 10 millimeter thick slate is kind of small. Just make it a 10, or we can just leave it 10 because we need to add another packing plate inside here. So to put the packing plate inside here, what we are going to do, we are going to come here, we are going to go under edit, then come to points once again. Now we'll pick online just to get the midpoint of this point, though we can just mouse over here and see them, the middle point is there. So to be for good practice, just click between the 2 points and get the midpoint of the two between the two. So we have this point here. Now what we want to do, we want to get a midpoint between these 2 points and this 2 point, another point between this point and that point. So I'll click that, then I'll snap on that point and get a midpoint there, and snap on that point and get a midpoint in between the two. Now I'm going to get rid of that. So I want to copy this. I want to copy these 2 points. I want to copy these 2 points the other side. So let me just select on this and select on that. And I'm going to come to copy and pick it from that spot and take it to that spot here. I'll place it right there. So I want to create a plate, another plate inward. So I'm going to pick on steel for me to get access to plate tool. So I'm going to pick on that and pick on that and pick on that and pick on that and close there. So you can see the plate inward. But what we are going to do, we are going to increase the thickness of this particular plate so that it can have some grip at the edge or inward towards toward the center of this particular rail. So I'm going to select the plate. Then in here I'll key in 20 millimeter. Then click modify. So once I've done so, that will be okay. And I'll come to navigate, and I'll be able to pick on that spot, and if I rotate, I'll be able to see I have another plate inside. So first things first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mirror this on the other side. What do? I have to change my mirror, my XYZ plane, and to align it so that it will enable the mirroring work without any problem. So let me just come to work plane and just place my work plane here. So once I've placed it there, I'll be able now to select these two components. Select these two components here. Then right click and come to special copy. Then I'll pick on mirror. So I want to use the center here. Let me just mouse here. I'll be able to get the center. If I can't get the center, I'll use this part and I'll mouse straight to another point that might be perpendicular and that is the perpendicular point. If I click on that, I'll be able now to click copy. So if I click copy, I'll be able to have these components on the opposite direction, but this tends to clashing with the other part, which means we did not mirror at the center. So what do we do and to get the center, to get our center right? Now, instead of using this member, we are going to use a different area where we will be able to define our mirror line. So we are going to use this member here. So this will be slightly accurate, and we can come here and snap on that spot, and you can see it's still not perfect. It's 89, but it should be approximately 90, so that that should be accurate. Though it is okay where it is, you can just leave it as it is on the opposite side. Now it is the way it is here, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to select on this. Prior to that, I want to get the midpoint here. So this midpoint will help us a lot. I'll come to edit, and pick on edit. I'll pick on edit, then come to points, then pick on line. So I want to get the midpoint from this edge here and move all the way to this particular point right there. Make sure you snap accurately, because that these are the points that will help us in determining the center of the other side when we now want to apply this and create a connection. Now let me just come here, and I want to place a point at the edge here, just to help guide me in now making things start working for us effectively. Now I want to select on this point, select on that member, select on this plate, and select on that plate. So once I've done so, I'm going to come to move, and I want to move it from this spot here and put it here. So once I've done so, I've moved it effectively. So I'll be able to come back. Now let me create some markings there. So let me look for expansion joint here, if I'll get one. So let me just come here and navigate, and I want to rotate this. So we have the plate, we have the midpoint here. So what I'm going to do is kind of simple. It's very, very simple. Let me get the point where I'll be able to snap accurately on that particular section. So let me just come here. I'll pick it. Not accurate. That's not accurate. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select it once again. Select that, select that, select that, select that. Then move it 10 millimeter. Inward by 5 millimeter. So I'll come to move. I'll come to move, and I'll move linear. But this time round, we will be moving in the Z direction. So I'll clear everything here, and I'll move in the Z direction by 5 millimeter. So let's see if we'll move positive. The direction is positive, but we've only moved one component. So what we are going to do, we are going to select that, and make sure we add the rest and click move. We've moved positively in the Z axis. So we had this in place. So let's first of all undo that, undo that, and undo that, so that we get back where we were. Let me just undo everything and do everything, and then do that. My target is I want this port here to match the other side. So if I come here and just check that it is okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add another point here just to guide me in being accurate. Add me some chances of being accurate there. So let me snap on that spot and add a point there. So whenever I select on this, select on that, and I try to select that point, and I try to move it, in the Z axis. If I move it, I'll be able also to move with that point. So once I've selected that, I'll move closer here. I'll move closer here and check where where I had placed this point that was in the middle point. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the same middle point here and create a midpoint between these two, between these two members, between these two. Now I'm going to midpoints, pick on that, come here and select on that, and select on that. Right click and come to click on that and terminate that. So I'll come click OK. So once I've done so, I'm going to come back here and select these two components here. Select that component. Then I'll right click and come to special copy, and I'll pick it from this point here. Then I'll move on the other side and just snap on that spot. So you can see we have that in place, and the rest will be very easy to do. So I'll come there and come to view and come to navigator, and I want to rotate this. If I turn it around, there you'll be able to see I have that plate and some packings inside, and the same on this side. So the next thing we are going to do is how we can create or bolt this or create or bolt this together. So let's meet then on the part 2 of this, and we'll be able to place the bolts. Hope you've learned something and you'll try that by yourself. Always don't forget to save your work. I've gone and saved it. I saved it right there. So let's meet then on the next part.